What's up, everybody, and welcome into the Wiregrass High School Football Report, brought to you by the radio people. This is your weekly look at all things high school football and the Wiregrass. That's right, the Wiregrass High School Football Report is back, Season 4, August 1st. We're just a few weeks away from the start of the high school football season here in the Wiregrass, just in time to bring back the Wiregrass High School Football Report. I am your host, Phillip Jordan, the in-studio host and producer for Nothing Woods Football on 96.9 The Legend, and we've got a great show to open up the 2022 high school football season here on the podcast. I will be joined first by Marc Sieving, head coach over the Elba Tigers, who are moving to 1A this upcoming season after being in 2A the last 2 years. And I'll be joined by the new head coach of the Geneva County Bulldogs, Joshua Thompson. So we got you 1A and 2A covered. That's kind of an idea what we're going to do leading into the season. Next week will be 3A and 4A. The following week will be 5A and 7A. No 6A because there are no 6A teams in the Wiregrass area now. So we will not be previewing 6A. But it's going to be a lot of fun with those two conversations. Of course, we'll kick things off with Around the Wiregrass, as I always do here on the show. But before we do that, let you guys know you can find me in the podcast. You can find me on social media at PJordanSEC. Podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, so please follow, rate, and review. Leave a review. I will read it on a future edition of the show. You can always email me at sports.philipjordan@gmail.com. And now, man, I've been waiting all off season to say this. Let's go around the Wiregrass. All right, first up in Around the Wiregrass, get ready for a new look Rip Hughes Stadium. The new Rip Hughes Stadium, over their renovation, will feature artificial turf for the first time in the stadium's history. New locker rooms, concession stands, and restrooms. They will not be finished by season start, but at some point during the season, they will be done. The first game that will be played at the new Rip Hughes Stadium will be August 18th when Houston County plays Northside Methodist. Northside Methodist will be playing 5 games there, as will the Dothan Wolves. You can hear all those games on 96.9 The Legend with Jerry Coleman, Ken Lambert, and myself. And, of course, like I said, Dothan will have 5 home games there as well. Last year, parking lot was redone. Of course, new video boards and interactive LED lights. So go out to Rip Hughes Stadium if you have a chance. Check out a game, either the Dothan Wolves, we prefer that, or the Northside Methodist. Check them out. They play on a Thursday night. So go do that when high school football season kicks off on the 18th. You follow Tiger great Courtney Upshaw is returning to the Falcons, but as a coach. He was inducted into the Wiregrass Hall of Fame back in 2019, won a Super Bowl with the Ravens, played in the Super Bowl with the Falcons in 2016 when they lost that 28-3 lead to the New England Patriots. 2011 defensive MVP for Alabama versus LSU in the national championship. But you follow great, staying in the NFL. He will be an assistant coach and intern for the Atlanta Falcons. And then Dale County's Christian Ross commits to Memphis. The tight end / defensive end last season had 30 receptions, 478 yards, 3 touchdowns, 53 tackles on defense. The announcement was made over on WDHN Channel 18. Other schools of interest were Tulane, Ole Miss, Troy, Liberty, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, Army, Arkansas State, Coastal Carolina, Middle Tennessee State, and Western Kentucky. But he will be going to Memphis, and it will be talking some 3A ball in the next week or so. So look out for Dale County's Christian Ross. And that's real quick, but that is Around the Wiregrass. Now let's jump into 1A, and let's talk with Marc Sieving, the head coach of the Elba Tigers. All right, everybody, my first guest for the 2022 high school football season here in the Wiregrass is Marc Sieving, head coach over at the Elba Tigers, one of the best programs in the Wiregrass, in my opinion. And Coach Sieving, I appreciate you taking time. Come on the show.
Well, thanks, Phillip. I appreciate you having me on, and I appreciate you saying that about our Elba Tigers. We're certainly proud of them, that's for sure.
Yeah, really good year last year. I know your first 2 years, 16-6 over those 2 years. I made the playoffs last year, 10-win region champions last year. But off season, spring and the summer, how's that been going with the team?
Really good. I tell you, we had a big senior class last year. So once the season was over, man, we were just like, all right, it's time to get back to work and try to figure out, how we're going to fill these spots. So I think we lost 9 guys on offense and 8 on defense. So So yeah, and we have a lot of young players coming up. So it was, hey, we got to get these guys strong. We got to get them in the weight room, and we're proud with the way that they've worked, and feel like we had a pretty good spring and got some of those questions answered. And man, we're just excited about practice tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting, I think, for football coaches and players. Everybody else, it's still summertime, really. I mean, yeah, it's the season summer, but for you guys, it's kind of like it's got to be like a fall mindset. Like you really, when you're in football, especially as a coach or a player, you don't have the same kind of summer everybody else does.
Yeah, that's true. But man, I mean, I'll tell you, we do it because we love it, and everybody else does too.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't want to be outworked by anybody. So everybody's working their tail off to get better, and that's what we've been doing too. So we certainly, like I said, we certainly had a lot on our plate as far as figuring out where the pieces are going to fit on our team, and not really concerned about anybody else. Just trying to get focus on us, and that's going to continue even when we start practice tomorrow. I mean, we still got so much to do.
You talk about starting practice up on Monday, recording this on Sunday evening. What's the feel? What kind of team you could have this season?
Well, we're going to be young, but we are in our third year. I guess with me being here, so our third year with the offense and the defense. So we're hoping these guys have been running that even down at the JV level the past 3 years. So we're hoping that that there's some carryover from that, and we've got some really good skilled players, we feel like, on both sides of the ball, and it's mainly been about trying to develop some offensive linemen and and on defense some linebackers and all that. So that's kind of what our focus has been.
It's a lot of offensive playmakers, of course. In comes sophomore running back now, Alvin Henderson, tremendous freshman year last year. I know he's been getting a lot of attention with the offers. I mean, that's been all over the local media and everything here in the Wiregrass. But I want to ask you about him. Just how early could you tell that you had a special player?
Well, I'll tell you, I mean, I don't think any of us expected, for him to get this kind of attention. I've been coaching 25 years, and I've never seen a kid get this type of attention at that age. So all of that, I think, was a surprise for us. We knew Alvin was a really good football player, and there was no doubt about that. But, it just kind of took off after our last game of the season. I think he got his first offer from Ole Miss. Man, ever since then, it's just kind of took off, So he's apparently got what these colleges want, and, we're definitely happy he's on our side.
Yeah, when you have a player like him, and then other players or other teams you play are going to obviously pay attention to him. How much does that just open up things for the rest of the offense in that situation?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, there's no secret. I mean, we're a team that runs the football. That's what we've done the past 2 years, and but we've got some other guys. Alvin split carries last year with JT Coleman, and JT's a senior this year. JT ran for close to 900 yards last year. So our quarterback Braden Johnson's back, and and then one of our linemen, Kyle Smith, is back. He's kind of been a leader on our line the past 2 years. So we're really expecting a lot out of Kyle as far as leading the rest of those guys, and it opens up some opportunities for some other guys. So yeah, that's definitely something we can work with.
I don't know. You just talked about quarterback Braden Johnson. I know from last year was his first year starting. What have you seen with him, after the season, through the spring, through the summer, with his development as a quarterback for your football team?
Well, I'll tell you, Braden's a worker, man. He's just a hard worker. He leads the way in the weight room and out there on the practice field, and he's just absolutely in love with football. And as far as a coaching perspective, you couldn't ask for anything besides that from a kid that's going to be out there running your offense. So yeah, we love Braden to death, man, and so excited we got him for not only this year but next year.
Yeah, absolutely, and then he adds to your running game. Watching some highlights from last year, he adds that running element too, as well as being able to throw the ball down the field.
He really does. He's a big, he's a big physical guy. I think right now, Braden's close to 235 pounds, so he's definitely not your typical quarterback. And we ask him, and we don't use him as a typical quarterback. I mean, we ask him to lead the way on a lot of our blocking and things like that. So, for what we ask out of him in our system, I mean, I couldn't think of a better guy to have.
On the defense side of the ball, what do you see right now? Obviously, you start practice on Monday, but just through spring and summer and what you have coming back from last season, what do you view as the strength of your defense?
I'd have to say probably the defensive line. And I say that because of one guy, Kyle Smith, is back. We are so thin on that side of the ball. We do have JT Coleman that played some corner for us last year. He'll be back. We're looking at moving him a little bit closer to the ball, maybe an outside linebacker position or something like that. But I'll tell you, man, it's a bunch of new guys, and they're not ready yet. So we got a lot of work to do, and it's going to be one of our main focuses this summer and it has been is getting these guys ready to play and developing some depth at these positions and putting them in some live situations at practice. So, we can figure out who the guys are going to be that are, that need to be out there. So, with that being said, I mean, we like our personnel. They've, these young guys have worked hard, and I think they're ready, and, it's their time. It's just kind of the unknown of not having seen them, in game type action,
Yeah, I remember looking at stuff going into last season for you guys, and then obviously talking to you during the season. Linebackers, it was a pretty senior heavy group there last season.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you, they were a good group, and but like I said, we're matter of fact, this year we've only got 4 seniors. So like we got a young team, and that's and we can't sit here and say, well, in 2 years we're going to be good and all that. I mean, we expect to do well every year. So we got to get these guys ready to go, and our coaches know that, and these players know that. And I think everybody's excited to get started, tomorrow.
And obviously one of the big changes for you guys will be going from 2A to 1A. A really interesting group of teams there. Houston County is also coming along with you. They were in 2A Region 2 last year. Just how's the team's response or their outlook on going from 2A to 1A with the new teams? It's kind of actually, in a way, it's got to be kind of exciting because there's a whole new batch of teams you're getting to play. But what's been like the vibe or the feel around the team playing in 1A this year?
I'll tell you, I mean, from our kids' perspective, from our players' perspective, I don't even think it really matters to them. I mean, to be honest with you, they just want to play football, and it doesn't matter who we play, and, I kind of like that that's the way they feel about it. For us as coaches, I mean, it's obviously exciting and a little bit worrisome, at the same time. I mean, you've got some teams in that region, and Brantley, I mean, just an outstanding football team. I mean, they're obviously going to be, I would think, the team to beat. And McKenzie, that's got a lot of players back. Kinston had a great year last year. So Florales, we saw them this summer. They look really good, 7-on-7. So, I think we're certainly going to have our hands full. And, the thing that we can do is to help ourselves is just to focus on us, man, and just try to get better every single day. We talk about, let's not be the same team today that we were yesterday. Let's take another step. Let's get better and better, and feel like we just preach that so much throughout the year that, we're not going to be the same team, week 7 as we are week 1. We're going to be better. And, if you can do that, and improve and of course, along the way, you're going to have guys get hurt. People are going to have to step up and move positions and things like that. But if you can just focus on getting better every single day, then, I think all of those things, when you start talking about playoffs and all that postseason stuff and region championships, I think, that takes care of itself. And that's kind of the way we approach it. We really don't talk about it much. The schedule is what it is, and we're going to take them one at a time,
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, y'all were focused on, getting ready for the season, and you open with New Brockton. But me, as a person that talks about high school football in Wiregrass, I've already circled 9-9 when y'all do play bluntly. I'm just looking forward to it. You ain't got to talk on it, but I just wanted to throw it out there that I'll be looking forward. You guys do play each other later on in the season. You do get some familiar team on the schedule at Providence too as well. I know some stuff on the schedule, but anything else about the team going into this season that we haven't touched here that you'd like to talk about, or maybe even just the community of Elba?
Well, I'll tell you, we're real fortunate and to be at Elba. I mean, it's been a great 2 years. These past 2 years are, and our players and our coaches are certainly excited for this year. There's an expectation here in Elba as far as the football program goes, and people expect us to win, and they want us to win, and they're going to pull for us and travel with us and give us all the support. So, we've got to hold up our end, which means getting out there and working every day to get better, and showing up on Friday night and playing some good football. And that's what's expected, no matter how young the team is, or throw all that in the trash. It doesn't matter. This is Elba football, and we expect to go out there and compete. So just excited about the season, man. And once again, I appreciate you, giving me the opportunity to talk about our guys.
Well, lastly, before I let you go, and we talked about this a little bit before we hit the record button here, that last year I was asking coaches the Friday Night Live question, what comes to mind? But now this year I've got a new question to close it out with coaches. And this is completely off of football. But when you are away from football, what are some of the things that you enjoy doing?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I'll tell you, our families, man, they even in 1A football, our families sacrifice so much. So for me, when I get a chance to be around them, I've got twins, boy-girl twins that go to University of Alabama, and then I've got my son Ty that plays at Elba over there. He's going to be a junior this year, and it's mainly spending time with them. Obviously trying to get up there to some Bama games is tough for me during the season, but I always try to get up there to a few of them. And, then personally, I enjoy, doing some outdoor stuff, some hiking. And I used to be a fisherman back in the day. I sure would like to revisit that if I ever had a chance, So, but I'll tell you one of the things that I love the most is football, man. I mean, that's why I do it. And have an opportunity to work with these kids and see them grow and especially, see how they do once they get done with high school and they move on. And that's where the real reward in it is. So, that's pretty much what I do.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people, when I ask that question, is going to go with the family dynamic. I just have a feeling when I ask that question. But obviously, I always love football, great sport, and it's great in the Wiregrass. And I feel like you guys are going to have a great year there at Elba, Coach. And once again, I appreciate you coming on the first show of the season. It's been great talking to you about the Elba Tigers, and good luck this season. And I'm sure we'll chat a time or two throughout the season.
Thanks, Phillip. Go Tigers, man.
All right, now let's transition over to 2A. And here's my conversation with the new head coach of Geneva County Bulldogs, Joshua Thompson. Everybody joining me as we now jump into 2A. I am joined by the new head coach of Geneva County Bulldogs, Joshua Thompson. And Coach Thompson, I appreciate you taking time and coming on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on. Great to have you on. Just what's the excitement level there at Geneva County right now with the high school football season right around the corner?
I think everybody's excited. The kids are excited. We've had a good summer. We had spring. We went spring ball, so we start practicing tomorrow. We'll start tomorrow afternoon. Be our first day. We got a lot to get done in a hurry.
So when some of you have already listened to this, Geneva County may have already had their first practice of the season. Just let's go back a little bit. Back in April when you were named the new head coach, just how did that process go? Because obviously you've been with the program, basketball head coach, offensive line, defensive line coach for several years. How was that process going, and how did it feel when you were named the head coach?
Oh, it was an honor. The process is always, I guess, stressful because you're worried about it, and you want the job, and it was stressful, but it was an honor, and it was great that they allowed me, gave me a chance to do this, and we're excited. We're excited to get started tomorrow, and we've had a good summer, a good turnout. And, with workouts and conditioning, and, we'll start practice tomorrow. We'll work out and then hit the field for the first time.
And I was mentioning you head coach of basketball too, head coach of football. And a question I have, and I actually glad to have you on because you can answer this question very
Right.
good for me, very clear for me. Oh, what's some things with basketball that can cross over to football and vice versa? Skill sets that kind of go with both sports.
Right. You talking about for the athletes?
Yes.
Yeah. Basketball is a lot more about your jumping, and football, that's not a big thing. But speed and agility, footwork. I think basketball helps with footwork so much. Especially for post players, it helps post players, and some of your post players are your linemen, so it just helps with footwork. But speed, agility, just trying to keep the kids active. If they're playing anything, and that's the whole point of, when I got the job, was trying to get all athletes to play every sport. We had too many football players or too many basketball players that weren't playing football, and they're kids that would really help us. And so we've kind of got them. I've got 13 on the basketball team, and 11 of them are playing. So that's been great. We've got the numbers out there. We're all ninth graders. We've got 2 ninth graders that are playing varsity, but the rest of them are 10th through 12th, and we're running between 36 and 38. So, the numbers are a lot better. And but it's a lot of the same skill sets: speed, agility, just athleticism. But footwork, I'd say, is probably the most prominent that you see from basketball that helps in football.
And how important is that, for, high school kids to play more than one sport? 'Cause I remember hearing Steve Spurrier talk about when he was still at South Carolina, talking about how, when he was growing up, you played everything. That's just what you
Right.
did. But now you see more and more, maybe kids may only play one sport, just specialize in one. But for you, coaching both sports, how important do you think it is for kids to play more than one sport?
I think it's very important. If the kids aren't playing sports, they're going to be sitting at home. Most of them. Now, most of them might get a job, but the specialization. I think it was during the Super Bowl where you saw I think it was 96% of all the players that were playing in the Super Bowl played more than one sport.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't see it as much in football and basketball. I think it's more of a baseball, softball thing where you really see it a bunch in. Is that this kid's a pitcher and he's going to pitch and that's all he's going to do. He don't want to wear his arm out, and but they play travel ball all year, and so I just think it makes the kid better. In baseball, you go out there and you're the quarterback in football or you're a wide receiver in football. It helps you when it comes to baseball season, and your agility. I think it's just better to just play everything, and I think it makes the kids better athletes.
Looking at the team this year, just from an experience standpoint, where are y'all at, senior, junior, when it comes to that ratio of the roster?
Right. We're actually a really old team. We graduated a big class last year. We graduated, I think 11 or 12 seniors this year. We've actually got 14 seniors this year, and we've got 12 juniors. So, and then I think sophomores, me and Coach Sumner was actually doing it a while ago, trying to see how many we had in each grade. And we got a couple freshmen and then I think 8 sophomores, but we're an older group, and this group's played a lot in the last few years. They hadn't got the attention because of some kid that went to Alabama, but this is a pretty experienced group coming back.
And kind of jumping back and you getting the job, you becoming a new head coach, just philosophy wise, what's your philosophy for your team, offense, defense?
We're just play a discipline. We're going to be a disciplined team. We're going to try to control the ball, control the clock, and try to play some lower scoring games than we have in years past. There's been a lot of games in years past. It's been a track meet. We had a couple games with Delville that, it was like a basketball score at the end of it. So we're going to try to control the ball, control the tempo of the game, and just, control the clock.
I've seen some of the scores over the year because during the Dothan Wolves broadcast, I'm keeping up with the scores. So I know last year you guys scored about 26 points per game. You talked about someone who went to Alabama, but running back Kenley Pryor he was there last year. Now he was the one that made a lot of big plays for you guys last year. What is the running back situation for you guys?
We've got Kenley's coming back, of course. Isaiah Hutcherson, who's been kind of our fullback, in years past. He ain't got many touches, but he's a good athlete, great kid. Probably our main back probably be Brendan Hall. It would be a sophomore. He's going to be a good player the next 3 years. Got Wesley Ward, Jose Martinez. I mean, we've got skill players coming back that just hadn't, got the notoriety, got the attention in years past. But we've got, our skill players, Jose Martinez, he'll be our quarterback. But Amari Holmes, I mean, we've got receivers and, skill players. So they hadn't got touches in years past, just because that just depth chart.
Offensive line, which I know that's where you were the offensive defensive line coach. One, how involved are you still going to be with that, and what's the offensive line looking like? We're an older group. It froze on me there for a second. You asked me about the offensive line, right? Yes.
Yeah, okay. Older group, probably going to end up starting 5 seniors across the front. 3 of them will be returning from last year, and then I have a couple that were backups last year that'll probably start. But older group, very mature group, and that's the biggest thing. And not the biggest in size, not the heaviest. We're not the tallest, but it's a good group of kids up front.
And I know that's where you were coaching at, before how much how involved are you still involved with that position, or is somebody else dealing with it? I mean, how involved are you going to be with the offensive line?
I'll do the offensive line and the defensive line.
Okay.
Coach Sumner will be the offensive coordinator, and I'll do the defense. I'll be the defensive coordinator.
All right, and that's a good transition because that's where I was about to go in the defense. And that you guys gave up 29.4 points a game. And I know last year though it was a tough year all around because injuries. I mean, it was injuries really hit y'all hard. But defensively, what's the group look like? It feels like just see some stuff you have said. There's a lot of experience coming back on that side of the ball.
Right. Yeah. We bring back actually 7 starters from last year. One kid that got hurt, who probably would have been 8, but he got hurt in the first game. And he was out for the year, so he'll be coming back. But, we returned our whole linebackers and our whole secondary besides one. Lost a corner, up front is where we'll have to fill in. We lost 3 starting defensive linemen from last year. So that'd be kind of the group that, I'll have my work cut out for to kind of get 3 ready, get 3 or 4 ready to play. But they're a good group. We'll probably, making the depth chart last few days, going into fall camp, it'd be 9 seniors starting on defense.
Wow.
That's could change, but just going into it. So it would be experience. And it's a group that, me and Coach Sumner, and Coach Hackett, we've had on JV, for when they were younger, and they kind of ran the system that we're doing then, when me and Coach Sumner, we coached on varsity, but we also had coached the JV. So it's that same group that we've had, and then we've had kind of come up, all the way through.
Yeah, it's got to be a good feeling to have that many seniors on that side of the ball because, especially when you get in region play, you play these teams, for years now. These guys have seen these other teams they're going against. So they're not going to be fooled by them. That's got to be like a huge advantage having that many seniors on that side of the ball.
It does. It definitely helps. We got kids that have experience, and they've been through playoff games and been through, tough games during the regular season. It definitely shows. It helps.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. And you talk about region. Look, I have said this since I've been doing this podcast last couple of years. 2A Region 2, line it up with any other region in the state, and just the number of teams because there's usually a team in this region that's good enough to make the playoffs that doesn't. Yeah. I think about Cottonwood last year. The year before, Elba went 6-4, and they didn't make the postseason. And I know you take it one game at a time, but and just how good is that for the players so that they, there's a challenge every single week in the region, and it's kind of does it help keep their focus?
It does help keep their focus, but we're not playing that week 0. We got week 1, we got Laverne, and then we go Laverne, Ayrton, Abbeville. We go straight into it. GW Long. It's the region is super tough. Bunch of good teams, a lot of good coaches. Region, and they do a good job getting the boys motivated. Coach Harrison over at Cottonwood, he's done a great job over there. I think it is a very tough region. Every week, you get challenged.
Yeah, then you got two new teams coming in. Sanson's coming from 1A, and then Wicksburg coming down from 3A, and Wicksburg's huge solid. So it's like, okay, Elba is going to 1A, but now you got Wicksburg coming to almost take their place. So it's I'm always paying attention to that region on Friday nights when I'm in the studio.
Right. Yeah, it's a tough region. You lose Elba, and then Wicksburg gets put in there, and well, toss up. But no, it's tough every night. Every Friday night, it's a challenge. There are a lot of good teams in the region, and then our non-region games. You've got Laverne, who has made the playoffs 40 straight years in 2A, and Slocum in 2 4A teams, Slocum and Geneva. So we're going to be challenged every week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know it's early. It's 8:20. Excuse me. August 26th when y'all play Laverne. Getting tongue-tied here. Hey, it's the first episode of the season. I got to get the group back. Anyways, and we're talking right the day before August is hit. But just going in, what are you looking for through practice and as you get closer and closer to kicking off that first game?
Man, it's just about, well, first of all, help get in shape. We've got to get in shape. It's going to be hot the first 5-6 weeks. But just about discipline. We can't have the penalties that we've had in years past. And, everybody's doing everything 100%. Can't take plays off. Just stuff that we've, done in years past that have hurt us. There's been a couple of years in years past where we should have been a 7, 8, 9 win team, and we've been a 4 or 5 win team. And it's just the little things that you do every day during fall camp or during, Monday through Wednesday's practice, that adds up, on Friday night. And that's the little things that, you can't have happen, especially in a tough region like we are, like we're in. You can't do that. You can't make mistakes and expect to win. And so it's going to be all about, discipline, just doing all the little things right. The boys know what, schematically what we're going to do offensively, defensively, but it's just, doing everything that we say, how we want it done. And, Coach Sumner, he does a great job of that, on the offense side of the ball, and just getting the discipline, on that side, defensively, just, the same thing. Just be disciplined and do your job. Know what you've got to do. Don't worry about everybody else on the field. Just do what you have to do.
All right. And I'm looking forward to y'all getting started. First game, like I said, on August 26th. There, I said it. I didn't get tongue-tied that time against Laverne. But I told y'all fair. I had 2 special questions to ask at the end.
Right.
Now, the first one is one I've been asking for years, and this is your first time on the podcast. So you get this one, and there's the one I'm asking everybody this one. But I have to change it a little bit on your end. But the first one is, when you hear the term Friday Night Lights, what comes to mind?
I mean, just football. That's everything you think about. Football you're supposed to be there on the field.
All right. The second one, when you were away from, I'm going to add one to this. When you're away from football and basketball, what are some things you enjoy doing?
I like fishing. Me and my wife, we go to the beach. We went this past week because once tomorrow starts, then my life's pretty much over until February or March. Go to the beach, fish, hunt. I don't get to hunt much anymore with basketball season, but I do enjoy it. That's really about it. Grilling. I like to cook.
Yeah, I had Coach Marc Sieving from Elba early in the first part of the episode, and he went into the family. I told him, I said, I have a feeling with that question, family is going to be one of the common denominators on that one. But we talked about the team. We talked about you getting the job, and what that first game gets you Laverne. Anything I didn't ask you about the team, or maybe something you want to say about the community there at Geneva County? Anything else you'd like to add?
No, the community is very supportive, and they've supported me. And Coach Sumner has been my assistant coach for basketball for the last 4 years. So now he's coming with me in football. So I mean, he's been great. He's kind of a right hand man. If something goes down, he's the first person I'm going to. So he's been great. The communities, they're very supportive. And me and my wife, we moved here. She moved. She was the volleyball coach and taught at Wicksburg. Well, she moved down. She's teaching down here now and helping with volleyball. So, the community's awesome. We've bought a house here and everything. So, it's I'm just thankful, and it's an honor to be their football coach.
Well, I appreciate you taking time coming on here, the first episode of the season, to talk about the Geneva County Bulldogs. I wish you all the luck this upcoming season. I hope we can chat a few times throughout the season, see how things are going. But I do appreciate you, Coach Thompson, for coming on the show.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Anytime. Just let me know.
All right. Once again, thanks to Coach Thompson and Coach Sieving for coming on this week's edition of the Wiregrass High School Football Report. It is really, really good to be talking with you guys again. The season's here. We're just a few weeks away, but it's really great. Doing that open, it was exciting. It brought a level of enthusiasm by doing this show, and it does every single week, talking the greatness that is high school football in the Wiregrass. Before we get out of here for this week's episode, a couple coaching changes. Now, I'm not going to go through every single one in Wiregrass on this episode. So as we are going by these different regions, a different coach from a different area, different classification, whatever you want to call it, we're going to go through who are the new coaches. And over in 1A, that's where we go, because 2A, the only one here that we care about here in the Wiregrass, we just talked to the guy, Joshua Thompson. So we're not going to go over to 2A. But in 1A, Florala, they're changing coaches. Their new coach is Jordan Cantrell. He is replacing Chris Middleton. He's actually entering his 9th year at coaching. He was at Elmore County from 2018 to 2021 and West Limestone High School in Lester, Alabama from 2014 to 17. He has a 35-50 overall record. 2016 with West Limestone, the team went 10-2. Houston County, who, like we mentioned, they now are in 1A. They went from 1A after being in 2A for so long. They're 5-5 last year. Chip Harris will not be the head coach. He is now going to be an assistant over at Daleville. Replacing him is Jake Allen, who has spent some time with Houston County from 2015 to 2020 as an assistant coach. Spent the last 2 seasons with Slocum under head coach Richard Tisdale. He's actually spent some time with Dothan Tigers from 2012 to 2014 as wide receivers coach. Played professionally with the Green Bay Packers, the Cleveland Browns, the Calgary Stampeders of the CFL, and the Georgia Force of the Arena Football League. So that's some new coaches in 1A to check out and keep an eye on for this upcoming season. And that is going to do it for this week's edition of the Wiregrass High School Football Report. Remember, you can follow me on social media at PJordanSEC. Podcast available over on Apple Podcasts, so please follow, rate, and review. If you don't have Apple Podcasts, you're watching the video, or if you're listening to some kind of audio, there is a description for the direct link to the show as well. You can check that out. And you can always email me at sports.philipjordan@gmail.com. Everybody has a great week. Talk to you next week. Till next time. Bye-bye.